Hello everyone, welcome to Help in Learning platform. Today we're going to discuss about Parliament of India, presented by me, Prithvinath. What is the significance of Parliament of India in the UPSC exam? Questions from Parliament will appear in prelims mostly, and you can use the matter of Parliament in the mains in certain questions. And having seen this significance, we'll delve into the topic. In the ancient times, when there are no rules, no laws, people behaved as they wished, and because of that, there are many chaos, insecurity, and restlessness. But in the present times, the situation is different. People appoint certain institutions to frame the laws, and according to those laws, people behave, so that the society runs in a disciplined and streamlined manner. In the Indian context, after independence, Parliament is created by the Constitution of India to frame the laws. The Parliament is the legislative organ of the Union government, and due to the Britishers' influence in the creation of the Parliament, it is also called as Westminster model of government. Article 79 to Article 122 in the Part 5 of the Indian Constitution deals with the Parliament broadly. The Parliament consists of three parts, that is, the House of the People, Lok Sabha, the Council of States, Rajya Sabha, and the President of India. Even though the President is not the Member of Parliament, he is considered as the part of Parliament because he has certain role in the running of Parliament. The House of People consists of members of Parliament. Those are elected by the people directly with the help of universal adult franchise. And the Council of States consists of members of Parliament who are elected by the states and the union territories which are having the legislatures. And we will look at those things in the next slides. How many members constitutes Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha? Here, this table shows the numbers. The maximum strength of Rajya Sabha is 250 and the present number is 245. The process of election to Rajya Sabha is the elected members of legislative assemblies elect the Rajya Sabha on the basis of the population, and for the Lok Sabha that is directly elected by the people. You can see the numbers, and nominated members nominated by the President of India, and Anglo-Indians are nominated to Lok Sabha because of inadequate representation of the Anglo-Indians in the Parliament. And for Rajya Sabha, 12 members are nominated by the President of India. The people who are excelled in their own fields like science, arts, sports, and many other things. Now we will look at the duration of both the houses. For Rajya Sabha, it is a continuing chamber, that is, it is a permanent body, and 6 years term is not for the house. The members of the Rajya Sabha will have the 6 years term, that is, 1/3 of its members retire for every 2 years, and the seats will be filled up with the fresh elections. The Constitution did not fix any term for the members of the Rajya Sabha. It is left to the Parliament. So the Parliament has created Representation of Peoples Act 1951, which has set the 6 years term for the members. And for the Lok Sabha, the Constitution has set 5 years, and after 5 years, Lok Sabha automatically dissolves. Now, we will look into the qualifications for a person to be chosen as a member of Parliament. First and foremost, he must be the citizen of India. Second, he must attain minimum 30 years of age for the Rajya Sabha and minimum 25 years of age for Lok Sabha. And next, he must be a registered elector in any of the parliamentary constituency. Before 2003, to get elected for Rajya Sabha, he should be an elector in that particular state from which he is getting elected. But after 2003, that clause was removed. So now, any member who is an elector in any of the constituency in the India can fight for the election of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. And now we will see the disqualifications for the members of parliament. There are two grounds for disqualification. First one is ground of defection. The speaker or chairman of Rajya Sabha removes the MP from his post on the ground of defection under the 10th schedule, and his decision is final. And other grounds like undischarged insolvent, unsound mind, and he is not the citizen of India, and so many things. On these grounds, the President of India will decide and his decision is final. But he decides after attaining the opinion of the Election Commission of India, and then he will decide. And the speaker will look into the speaker of Lok Sabha and the chairman of the Rajya Sabha in detail. After general elections, President appoints the senior member of the parliament as the pro tem speaker temporarily. He takes the oath of every member of parliament, and then he conducts the election for the speaker. After election, a speaker is elected from the members of parliament. Then he will become the speaker for rest of the term, and his tenure will be 5 years. That is until he is the member of parliament. And in case if he resigns or if he dies, then the post will become vacant. And there are many powers for the speaker of parliament, like he is the final interpreter of the constitutional provisions, and he adjourns and suspends the sittings of the Lok Sabha, and he presides the joint sitting when there is a deadlock. Chairman of Rajya Sabha has no role in the joint sitting, remember this. And speaker has the power to decide whether the bill is money bill or not, and his decision is final. And the question of disqualification on the ground of defection is also final by the speaker's decision. And there are some other powers which he has, and those are not that much important. And he is independent and impartial, because his removal is a tedious task. For his removal, there must be 14 days notice period, and to introduce the motion, minimum 50 members of Lok Sabha should approve it. Then the motion takes into consideration. Then that motion should be passed by all the then members. That means half of more than 50%, 50% plus 1 of the total members minus vacant seats of the Lok Sabha. Then he will get removed after signing of president. So this much process of removal ensures the speaker the independence and impartiality. So there is a post of deputy speaker also, but he is not subordinate to the speaker, because he is also an elected member from the MPs. So he is directly responsible to the Lok Sabha itself, not the speaker. Now we will look at the chairman of Rajya Sabha. He is the vice president of India, and he is an ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. He is not the member of the Rajya Sabha, and he has the same powers as of speaker, but there are some changes. He cannot preside the joint sitting because the speaker presides the joint sitting, and he can't decide whether the money bill is the money bill or not. And the other powers are similar to the speaker. And there is a post of deputy chairman also. He is the member of the Rajya Sabha itself, and he is not subordinate to the chairman, and he is directly responsible to the Rajya Sabha itself. And there are other posts like leaders in the parliament, that is leader of house and the leader of opposition and the whip. These posts are not mentioned in the constitution. Leader of the house is Prime Minister of India itself. If he is in the Lok Sabha, then leader of the house is Prime Minister, and the leader of the Rajya Sabha will be the nominated member or minister by the Prime Minister. If he is in the Rajya Sabha, then the nominated member by him in the Lok Sabha will be the leader of the Lok Sabha. And leader of opposition got the statutory status also, and to declare as the leader of opposition, minimum 1/10 of the seats must be attained by that party. And these two are mentioned in the rules of house and the parliamentary statute. And the post of whip is not mentioned anywhere. That is an informal post. And now we will look at the sessions of the parliament, different sessions of the parliament. Summon. There are three sessions for every year. President summons all the members of parliament for these three sessions. That is budget session from February to May, and monsoon session from July to September, and the winter session from November to December. What is adjournment? For every sitting, after every sitting, the speaker or chairman adjourns the sitting. That means for that day the sitting is completed. What is adjourn sine die? That is different thing. Adjournment is for the limited period of time. That is, the sitting is adjourned to tomorrow, or the sitting is adjourned to day after tomorrow, like that. But the adjourn sine die is different thing. The sitting is adjourned for the indefinite period of time. The speaker or chairman won't say the next sitting time period. So it is generally said by speaker on the last sitting of the session. So after 1 or 2 days, president passes the prorogation. Prorogation means the entire session is completed. It is passed by the president. Adjournment and adjourn sine die are passed by the speaker. And next one is dissolution. President has the power to dissolve the Lok Sabha before 5 years of term itself, and he has that power. And what is quorum? Minimum 1/10 of the total members must attend the parliament to start a session, and it is taken care by the speaker or chairman. The 1/10 members, it includes the speaker and chairman also. So if there is no quorum, then the session can't be started, and speaker or chairman can adjourn or suspend the sitting. Now we will look at the devices of parliamentary procedure. What are these? To keep a check on ministers and the government, members of parliament uses these devices to keep a check. And some of these are question hour. What is question hour? this is the first hour of every parliamentary sitting. So there are three types of questions can be asked in the question hour. Those are starred questions. What are starred questions? They should be given with a prior notice to the minister, and those get the oral answers from him, and there can be the follow-up questions also. Second one is unstarred questions. These will be given written answers, and there cannot be supplementary questions. And the third one is short notice. These questions will be given with a notice of less than 10 days. So these get the answers orally. And the second one is 0 hour. So 0 hour is an informal device. This is to raise the matters without any prior notice. Without any prior notice, in the 0 hour, members can ask the questions for the ministers. And the motions are also devices to keep a check, and there are many motions. First one is closure motion. It is a motion moved by a member to cut short the debate on any matter before the House. If there is the discussion going on and on without any conclusion, then the member can pass this motion to cut short the discussion and to move on to the next topic. So this is a closure motion, and the next one is privilege motion. Privilege motion can be passed by any minister or the member of the parliament to ensure those privileges given to them as a member and collectively. And the third one is adjournment motion. This is an important motion. Please remember this. This motion is passed to draw the attention of the House to any urgent public importance matter, and this motion needs 50 members support to admit this motion itself. So you can understand the importance of this motion by this provision. And because it interrupts the normal business of the House, it can lead to the dissolution of the government if it gets passed. So this motion has an indirect impact on the no confidence motion, and this motion cannot be introduced in the Rajya Sabha. It can be only introduced in the Lok Sabha. And there are two motions: censure motion and the no confidence motion. There are slight differences between these two motions. The censure motion can be passed against any one minister for his actions or specific policies. This motion can be passed against one minister. So if this motion is passed, then the minister needs council of ministers are not needed to resign, but it has an indirect impact on the no confidence motion. This can lead to introduction of the no confidence motion. No confidence motion is the motion against the entire council of ministers. So if it gets passed, then the government will dissolve, and the president takes a call whether to dissolve the Lok Sabha or to call the another member to form the government. And the last one is motion of thanks. After every general election, the first session of every year is addressed by the President of India. So after the completion of the speech, the members of parliament passes this motion to thank the President of India. If this motion is not passed with the majority, then also there is an indication for there is no confidence in the government. So it can also lead to the introduction of the no confidence motion. And the next one is half an hour discussion. This is to discuss any matter of public importance which has already been discussed and debated so much and it needs a conclusion on that. So this discussion can be done on those things only. For this, the speaker can allot 3 days per week. And the next one is short duration discussion. This is a short duration one, that is 2 hours discussion. This is also to raise a matter of urgent public importance. The speaker can allot 2 days a week for this discussion. And you can observe that these 2 discussions and the adjournment motion, all the 3 are to raise a matter of public importance. But these 2 can be raised only in the given time period by the speaker. But adjournment motion cuts the normal parliamentary process, and in between the motion is passed. So it got the importance, and that is the reason it can implicate to the no confidence motion. And the special mention is can be passed only in the Rajya Sabha itself and not in the Lok Sabha. That is also to raise the matter of public importance. And this is the discussion for today. Thank you for your patience. And the next part of Parliament will be available soon. Stay tuned to Help in Learning platform. Thank you.